all. This is organized as part of November Quality Month Series 2024. This event is jointly conducted by Consultant Consortium of Chennai, PCC, and Management System Consultant Consortium, MSCC, two prominent industry associations committed to advancing quality and resilience in management systems. For those you who may not familiar about CCC, this is founded 5 years ago and MSCC established less than 2 years ago. Both are non-profit association registered under the Societies Act. These organizations are dedicated to promoting responsible consulting practices, supporting industry standard, and enhancing the capabilities of consultant across the various sectors. This session is our third in the month of November, which is celebrated globally as World Quality Month. It's a time when industries worldwide come together to focus on quality improvement, celebrate achievements, and address the challenges in implementing quality practices. As part of this celebration, we also recognize World Quality Week and World Quality Day, which aim to bring greater visibility to the importance of quality in achieving organizational excellence. This year theme, quality from compliance to performance. And today's topic is around this theme, quality, building resilience in aviation, space, and defense sector. It reflects the current focus on fortifying critical sectors to withstand challenges, ensure compliance, and drive sustainable growth. Our November Quality Month series running till December 10th is aligned with this theme, with each session exploring various compliance and compliance to performance. The aviation space defense sector particularly face unique and complex compliance challenges. Globally, ASD industry is under magnified scrutiny as it balances rigorous regulatory demands, increasing performance expectation, and ever-evolving technological landscape. Compliance requirement, whether from FAA or EASA or DGCA or the GAQA, NADCAP or AS 9100 series or some national specific standards are become more stringent, and any lapse can lead to costly setbacks. Recent compliance failures and performance issues have spotlighted the need for robust QMS and not only meet the regulatory requirements, but also enhance operational performance and resilience. In today's session, we will explore how this sector can address these challenges head-on, ensuring they remain resilient and capable of meeting both national and international expectations. Today's session is being recorded and will be available in our YouTube channel, making it accessible for further references within the industry and for the stakeholders. We encourage you to revisit these insights and share them within your professional networks to enhance industry knowledge and awareness. With that, let's begin our program. Each speaker will cover a specific aspect of resilience and compliance within aviation, space, and defense, providing practical insights and strategies. After each speaker session, I'll be offer a brief acknowledgement before we move on the next topic. Towards the end, we'll hold Q&A session to address your queries. In between, if there is any Q&A that can be addressed. Okay, so I'll move to introducing my first speaker. It's my pleasure to introduce distinguished guest and expert in field of defense and strategic studies. Today, we are honored to have with us Group Captain Dr. Rajiv Kumar Naran, VSM, retired. Group Captain is currently a senior fellow at prestigious Manohar Parrikar Institute of Defense Studies and Analysis, where he contributes invaluable insights on defense and national security. A former Indian Air Force helicopter pilot, Group Captain Dr. Rajiv Kumar Narang brings a wealth of experience from his years of dedicated service. He is a qualified flight safety and accident investigator and an instructor on the renowned Cheetah and Cheetah helicopters. Additionally, he holds a commercial helicopter pilot license, is an alumnus of the 57th Defense Services Staff College in Wellington, Tamil Nadu, and also holds a master degree in defense and strategic studies, as well as PhD in international relations. His exemplary services in the Indian Air Force earned him the Vayu Sena Medal in 2000. As an author, Group Captain has contributed greatly to the body of knowledge on UAVs and defense technology. His book titled India's Quest for UAVs and Challenges, along with his numerous research paper on topics like aviation, drones, counter-drone systems, Make in India and self-reliance, highlight his commitment to advancing defense capabilities in India. His previous roles including serving as a senior fellow at the Center for Air Power Studies and as Director Strategic Initiative at the Drone Federation of India. Group Captain also contributed to the national policy through his roles in the drone working subgroup under DPIIT, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, as a member of the High Power Steering Committee of IDEX. A notable recent contribution of our Group Captain work is HQIDS SADM report titled A Roadmap for India Become Atmanirbhar in Counter Drone Technologies and System, which is published in 2022. So please join me in welcoming Group Captain Dr. Rajiv Kumar Naran. We look forward to gaining from your insights and expertise today, sir.
I will try to share my screen. If I'm unable, then I'll request you. So I think I have an issue. If you could play my presentation.
Sure.
So by the time you play my presentation, I will just say a few words.
Yes.
I focus. Recently, I authored a study called Military Civil Technology Fusion for Making India Atmanirbhar Global Drone Hub at 2030. It is a freely downloadable monograph. Similarly, I've recently, I think we are coming up with another Journal of Defense Studies in Manohar Parrikar Institute of Defense Studies and Analysis, where I authored a paper called Challenges, Certification and Atmanirbharta Challenges to our drone industry. So thank you very much, Kirti, for inviting me in this webinar. I have been studying drone aeronautics policies of India, both civil and military. While I'll keep focus on civil policies, I can speak about military policies on aeronautics as well as on defense in general. Uh, Basically, I will try to take a drone as an example, and thereafter, if people have questions, I can answer it. Just to tell you the background of it. Next. So, drone actually had a very turbulent start in our country. Drone initially, people started, creating small little drones around India, and later on, when I show you, the drone was almost banned in India. From there to a prime minister calling it to make India a global drone hub has been a revolution. So last few years, suddenly saw a lot of focus on drones, and similarly, we also saw revival of our military aeronautics manufacturing industry. While I see we have missed out on commercial aeronautics manufacturing industry, and recently we held a roundtable on transport, where we deliberated on how to make India a transport aircraft manufacturing hub by 2047. So if questions come, I can certainly deliberate on that. And as you people are aware, that Prime Minister has been emphasizing on Atmanirbharta, especially after the COVID, because when we realize that it is not only the medical emergency, probably many of you may not be aware, that our supply chains in military also were impacted. And there was a realization that critical technologies could really create challenges for us because of global geopolitical or geostrategic changes. Similarly, Prime Minister has slowly, from Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan, he's now added new words to it, Jai Anusandhan uh, and Jai Vigyan. Now, Jai Anusandhan means research, Vigyan means science. These issues were being done, but again there is a realization that we need to refocus on it, and it has been made a slogan by the Prime Minister. And now we want to become an advanced country by 2047. So a lot of my observation will keep it in mind that our aspirations are rising, and if our aspirations are rising, then probably we need to really do some changes in our approach, changes in our technology development initiatives, which I still find we have a lot to cover. Next slide. So now look at drone. Before 2014, a lot of a lot, I will not say, like I remember 2014 when I first time met some young drone entrepreneurs. Most of them were young. They were, I think 2014, they were young, and they were trying to do something. And suddenly this, because of their activities, uh, authorities realize that suddenly they have become organized, and they are doing too many activities related to drone. And security forces were concerned that if it proliferates without any control, it could become a challenge, so they banned operation of drones. It doesn't mean drones were not at all operating. It means drones who were operating had to take a very special approvals, and mostly it was done with the government, whether state or central government. So operation of drones was banned. And then in between 2017 18, some measures were made to make some draft policies where it didn't make a way ahead. 12th March 2021, first UAS, unmanned aerial system rules were made. Now when these rules were made, there were a lot of stringent policy provisions. Now when these provisions came to limelight, a lot of people, especially in the drone industry, realized that if this policy remains into force, we could have challenges. So I think compliments to the government, industry, government, a lot of stakeholders. Now, when you say government, there were multiple ministries which had a stake. Academia, all of them came forward, and highest leadership in India decided that this US rules have to be scrapped. Now, scrapping a rule within a very short period of 1 month and saying we'll come back with a new rule meant that few years we will not have drone rules which we were expecting. But I think compliments to all the people. They worked overnight. The draft rules were published. Final, all stakeholders consultations was done, but it was done within a period of 4.5 to 5, 4.5 months. Now that is unprecedented when you change the rules. Now 2021 when it came, it really brought energy in Indian drone industry. So then we saw drone rules followed by production link incentive. They came up with the national UTM policy, certification scheme for unmanned aerial system. Now, from here onwards, we will pay attention to what these rules meant. Now, when you look at the drone rules, it had all the provisions which are needed for operations, manufacturing, training, certification, all aspects were covered. But the problem was these needed to be supported by the follow on rules. So these were very open-ended, which gave a lot of latitude to innovators, manufacturers, trainers. So they had to be, complemented with the follow-on rules for various uh, sub activities of the drone segment. So then they came up with the National UTM Policy Framework on 24th October 2021. UTM is Unmanned Traffic Management Policy. Now this policy framework came, but here we realize after this UTM policy framework that it was not easy to transform from a with the policy initiatives alone, because that national UTM policy has not resulted in operationalization of UTM till today. So what has been lacking is an R&D structure in the Ministry of Civil Aviation or the ecosystem to develop or even validate advanced technology. So this will reappear in all my deliberations. Uh, Even after certification scheme for unmanned aerial system, QCI was given the mandate to do the field level certification, then come back to DGCA, submit the documents, and DGCA will issue the, like, initially it was proposed to be a license, later it was converted into a certificate. So right now you get a certificate for 10 years. Certification for unmanned aerial systems. Now, what does it certify is it certifies a particular model. If you make any changes, it has to go through the recertification process. But the limitation of this policy was, so initially they restricted it to 150 kg drones. But the policy had provisions till 500 kg drone certification. Beyond 500 kg, it says it will be treated as a manned aircraft. Means it has to follow the policy provisions as required for a manned aircraft. So I think it was a very, uh, I will say, initial step taken, uh, but it had to be followed up with the further development of the policies, and those policies would have evolved with the validation of existing capabilities of the industry or the technology. So I think validation and technology R&D initiative, which we see in Europe and America, are lacking in India. Now, I have published a paper called Anusandhan led Atmanirbhar UAS industry in India. If you go through that paper, you'll realize that what Europe and China and America does is they have proactive R&D initiatives, they have proactive technology validation initiatives, they formulate standards based on validation of various trials and those uh, interactions they have with the industry, academia, and other stakeholders. Similarly, Federal Aviation Authority of US had launched a drone testing site, uh, where 7 testing sites were created in US, in different parts of US, on a competitive basis. Now, these testing sites were funded, but the selection was on a competitive basis, and they were given different technologies they had to develop or validate them. So, so there was a method in madness. They were open, but at the same time, they systematized their process. So, despite formulation of certification policies, we have moved after the formulation of this policy in 2022. We have moved ahead a lot, and I'll show you figures later how much we have progressed. Uh, Currently, we don't certify drone components, sensors, payload, software, etc. separately, which is required. Like if you want India's innovation to come up in the subsystem level, somebody would ask you whether those components are certified. While they are certified as a part of the drone, but individually they are not certified. So that becomes an impediment in growth of the Indian drone industry. Uh, Now the limitations, remember, the aviation and drone both are controlled by the Director General of Civil Aviation. So whatever limitations we find in drone segment, similar limitations are there in aeronautic segment also. So just keep that in mind. BIS, the battery certification is being followed through BIS. However, BIS has a limitation of, currently they certify batteries based for nickel and cadmium batteries. So recently there was a innovator who came up with a uh, graphene based battery, but they didn't have a mechanism to certify his battery. So this trial and innovation based certification needs to move forward. Next. So this is what you see, the drone rules covered all those aspects. Type certification by QCI, drone registration was there, drone pilot certificate was there, drone pilot training institutes are being certified. Uh, and entire airspace was divided into three segments: green, yellow, and red, which I will show you later. The green zone does not need any permission. Yellow zone, you need permission from the uh, nearest air traffic unit, and in the red zone, you only need permission from the central government. And also, your drones need to have an insurance. Next, Karthi, next. Yeah, this is the airspace map. Now you see the red one. Uh, Similarly, there are yellow spaces, and it is online map, which is on a portal called Digital Sky. If you see, you can go and see where you can operate. All green spaces below 400 feet, you can operate. In yellow zone, up to 200 feet, it is allowed. And in certain areas where, with the permission of the ATC, you can flee. And wherever you see red zones, as you expand, the red zones will become more clear state-wise. And there you are required to take permission from the central government. Next slide. Now, this slide indicates the green zone, yellow zone, and the red zone. Red zone, you need permission from central government. Yellow zone, normally 8 to 10 kilometers, from 0 to 8 kilometer, from ground to highest altitude, you need permission from ATC. But from 8 to 12 kilometer, you can operate up to 200 feet. And above 200 feet, again, you need permission from the air traffic control. Beyond 1200 feet, again, you need permission from the air traffic controller nearest. Next. So this is a platform, Digital Sky platform, which provides a lot of information. You guys can, visit and find out more details about it. Next. Okay. As you all are aware that drones are being employed for medical, dull, dirty, dangerous missions, surveillance of roads, smart cities, mine, power lines, crowd management. Swarm displays are happening now. That is due to Meher Baba competition launched by Indian Air Force. Swamitwa scheme is surveys of villages and mapping of with improvised technology in village areas, which is called Abadi area. So what is happening is you are making digital map of village areas, and that digital map is accepted by the bank to give you loan and accepted as a ownership of your land. It was launched in 2021. There are 5,70,000 villages in India. Almost 1,35,000 are completed. They are notified 3,45,000, and property cards have already been issued to about 2 lakh, 2 crore 6 lakh people. Next. Now, further, import of drones was banned. Now, why it was banned was because import drone is a sensitive technology, also to promote indigenous development. But you cannot even bring in a CKD, SKD, or completely build units. But your import of component was simplified. In fact, that is becoming a challenge because now we are overly dependent on import. Government also launched very many policy initiatives. They launched Kisan drone schemes to proliferate in the agriculture sector. They allowed export of civil drones less than 25 kg with less than 25 kilometer range. They launched Namo Drone Didi to train women self-help groups for agriculture purposes, and about 1,261 crores have been allocated to train and deploy these drones flown by the women self-help groups around India. Next. So 30th November, this scheme was launched, and about 50,000 drones have been given to uh, women self-help groups. 5th March 2024, just last month, last month, guidance material for design, operations, and authorization of vertiports where drone can land have been issued. But my observation here is, uh, beyond visual line of sight, which was trials carried out by ministries DGCA, they have not formulated a policy, whereas they formulated a policy on vertiports, where there was hardly any trial. So I think that kind of probably, taking cue from the global OEM or the global standards. But I would recommend we need to go for a trial based approach in India. Now, if you look at the drones which are issued unique identification number, each drone has a unique number. The way you have a car plate in your car, each drone has a unique identification number, and 26,000 drones have been issued UN, and 83 types of drones have been certified by the government. And remote pilot training organization, which is a drone training organization, there are 133 organizations have been approved around India who can train drone pilots. And so far, 11,709 certifications have been issued to drone pilots. Next. So, what do we lack? We lack civil drone development and validation initiatives. We lack design certification of indigenously designed UAVs and components. See, right now you are certifying them for airworthiness, but how do you identify it's an Indian product or indigenously designed product? So I think that mechanism we need to put a thought into it. Similarly, I think, uh, in fact, import of a lot of critical components has brought drone vulnerabilities, which have been noticed in the recent past. Similarly, urban air mobility, advanced air mobility, we will need some sort of flexibility in undertaking trials in collaboration with the industry. But I think more important is, when these trials are being conducted, we also generate data that can be used to formulate the future regulation. It should not be a passive approach that you do the trials, submit the report. It is the way code development of future airspace integration roadmap, which has to be developed together. Next. Uh, as you know, Indian drone industry's rise is led by small startups and MSME. It was not started by the big industry players. In fact, these were the innovators coming from small startups and academia and MSME. So I think they are the major players. Now, of course, big players are entering. Uh, so the challenges remain, implementation of UTM policy, which required a development of real-time tracking system, detect and avoid system, and such other technologies. And it's not that all these technologies are not available. Some of them are available and can be validated, but the lack of validation initiative is hampering growth. BVLS operations policy is awaited despite having completed the trials, whereas eVTOL guidelines came in no time, and no R&D program for civil aviation. Next. I also feel that DRDO, DPSUs, and academia needs to have they have laboratories. If we provide them NABL or international accreditations, so those trials testing which are done by that can be used for certification of drone and component. So that will help. Trial based standard formulation mechanism we lack. Standards, I think we have not really we've formulated initial operational standards for the certification of drones, but beyond that we have not moved forward. Similarly, there's a need for a little bit of standardization. Our certification policy has to evolve, and I think that will only happen when we have a nodal ministry to lead the civil US technology initiatives. Next. uh, I will disregard why do Indian companies fail, because that's not our focus. Center of excellence have been set up in a lot of academic institutions, but they are not focusing on technology gaps. As I have repeated earlier, if they start focusing on technology gaps, a lot of our challenges can be overcome, and our dependence on import, especially on critical technologies, where the alternates are far and few, or they are very expensive. So those things I think can be done if these centers of excellence are made focus on technology gaps. Next. These are the various initiatives taken by the state government and the academic institutions. Next. These are all, I think, MTech in IIT Kanpur, and setting up a testing site in IIT Kanpur, which is an interesting site. Another testing site has been set up in the south. Um, these are the areas which we need to look up to. Next. So I think we could designate Ministry of Civil Aviation or one of its entity as a nodal Of course, Ministry of Civil Aviation as a nodal ministry for civil aviation as well as drone R&D. Structures, ecosystem, policy, and roadmap for R&D and self-reliance uh, are needed in Ministry of Civil Aviation to achieve the goal of self-reliance and a developed nation. Also, we need a civil aviation procurement policies, uh, because civil aircraft and drones acquired by the various ministries, if we can leverage it for local manufacturing or niche technologies, this can really support Atmanirbharta. Certification, trial-based standardization, R&D initiatives, validation initiatives, all these are some of the small steps needed to move to the next generation. Next. So I think equivalent to Innovation for Defense Excellence or Technology Development Fund or Delegation of Financial Powers to Defense Services, we need similar initiatives in other ministries, especially civil aviation. Drone R&D and airspace integration programs has been taken world over. I think we lack that. If we create, we will certainly make a reasonable progress. And lastly, we need to have a civil military aviation fusion policy, because unless we have that fusion, what is being developed in defense, we are not able to optimally utilize for civil and vice versa. So I think we need to harness the entire technology potential available in India. Thank you. That's all.
Okay, so thanks for the insights, sir, the deep insights. There are no questions, but I have one question to ask. You already touched upon this slide. Uh, when it's come to the test facility of these drones, the whole UAS is certified, but how about the components or the performance of the product, the ecosystem of test facility in with respect to UAVs? So how strong we have in our countries? That's the
So we have so far two test facilities. I think two, three more are under progress. But all these facilities are progressing mostly under the Ministry of Defense. I would recheck the IIT. It's a defense testing infrastructure scheme where 70% of the funding is provided by the government, where you can set up a testing facility. Uh, but I still feel Kanpur has a small runway, but considering the length and width of our country, we do not have many civil drone testing sites in India with the runways, because tomorrow we will be moving from quadcopter to fixed wing drones and unmanned system. If we really want to, reach at the global level, I think we need to create more testing facilities. And my emphasis is we need more civil drone testing sites than the defense alone. While, of course, there will be dual use testing site, but I think we need more, and we also need more fixed wing testing site. Second, we need more NAVL accreditation laboratories. Third, we need the infrastructure in terms of which can support the large, long duration drones beyond line of sight operations, high altitude operations. Because unless you have those facilities which are suitable for operation in high altitude, suitable operation in corrosion prone areas or deserts or high temperature areas. So unless we have these testing sites in all those locations, we will not be achieving the uh, required. We will not be able to give the desired impetus to the growth of the industry. So I think some more effort is required in that.
right. Thank you. So one more last question. Is there any specific requirement, for example, DOAs or POAs for UAV manufacturers or designers?
So you have registration process of drone manufacturers in the drone rule policy, and this mechanism is available on Digital Sky. Um, that can be used. Basically, that's an industry approval procedure, which probably people can do it. For drone manufacturing and certification, they have certain processes which are very well laid down in the drone certification policy. Drone manufacturers can also register with the Ministry of Civil Aviation, and those provisions are given in the Digital Sky platform.
Fine, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much for the detailed insights. Thank you. Okay, so we'll move to the next session. The next session topic is about the QCA Summer, the System for Advanced Manufacturing Assessment and Rating Certification Framework. It's my privilege to introduce Dr. Ramanand N. Shukla, an exemplary leader in field of business excellence and quality management, currently serving as a senior director and head of Z division of QCA. He has dedicated over 2 decades of advanced quality standards, specializing in areas like business excellence, food safety, environmental management, occupational health and safety across various sectors, including defense. He is a certified examiner for IMC Ramakrishna Bajaj National Quality Awards and as a senior assessor for CAA Awards for food safety. He is also a certified lead auditor for various management system and holds a Six Sigma Black Belt. He is also a strong educational foundation with doctorate in environment management and MBA in marketing. Have trained more than 5,000 professionals in quality, business excellence, Z, food safety, and auditing. Is not only an expert but a passionate advocate for building competencies in quality standard across sectors. His expertise also extend to program and implementation impact evaluation. So please join me giving warm welcome to Dr. Ramanand Shukla. We are eager to gain an extensive experience today.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Karthi. And this is a pleasure to be addressing this August gathering. And I was just hearing, the previous gentleman group commander. And in fact, what he spoke about the drone and the policies, that shows how the transformation is happening and how the future wars will be perhaps, not only future wars, but in fact, if we look at the recent ones, sometime back, this Armenia and Azerbaijan war that happened, it was won largely because of the drones. So there's, a lot of change in the way things were happening so far. Share my presentation and I'll just give me a moment. So I think my screen is shared. Can you see the
Yes.
PPT? I'll just put it on the full screen mode. Okay. So although I'll be talking about the summer program, right, that is in collaboration with DRDO that QCI has developed. But if you look at the defense and aerospace sector, today India is seeing, a transformation. We are at the cusp of this transformation. And there's an unprecedented growth and reform. Largely, this has been possible due to our focus on, Atmanirbhar Bharat, the goal of 2047, the Viksit Bharat vision that Honorable Prime Minister has, envisioned. And I think all this is driving us towards, a new era. And this vision, if I look at when Honorable PM, he started talking about Atmanirbhar Bharat, and that we don't have to be just self-reliant in terms of defense manufacturing, but we should also export. We should be the global hub of all this. So that is where, if I look at the statistics, we have in 2023-24, we have crossed the exports, defense exports worth 21,000 crores. And by 2025, we expect it to be over 35,000 crores. And having this milestone of 21,000 crores met, in next 5 years, now we are looking at exports worth 50,000 rupees. And today, we should be proud that we are exporting to more than 90 countries. So if I look at this transformation, it's wonderful, unprecedented. But then one thing that we all must realize is the fact that our journey to strengthen and sustain resilience in defense and aerospace will define not only our security, but also our standing in the global arena. So it's not only about, being Atmanirbhar, but how would India be seen at the global forefront. And to achieve this vision of establishing India as a global powerhouse while ensuring national resilience, What is required is a fortification of every link in the defense and aerospace ecosystem, whether it is R&D, the research, whether it is the supply chain or manufacturing, or even people skills. So every element within this entire chain has to be fortified. And summer is one of those steps in this direction. So summer is basically a collaboration between Quality Council of India and DRDO. Quality Council of India, I'm sure most of you would be aware that QCI is an apex body in the country. It was established as a national accreditation body to facilitate, not only trade, but also ensure that the quality reaches the last mile. So we are an autonomous body as Quality Council of India, and our nodal agency is DPIIT under Ministry of Commerce and Industry. And together with DRDO, we have developed a framework because now the thrust is on indigenization. The thrust is on, developing high quality and reliable systems. So when we talk about quality in defense parlance, it translates into reliability because if a soldier has to fire a bullet, then at the time he pulls the trigger, it has to be fired and the accuracy has to be there. The reliability has to be there because it's not only his life on the line, but also the national security which is on the line. And to ensure that all our manufacturers who are into defense manufacturing, they are able to, manufacture platforms or weapons or systems or even components. They must be highly reliable. So that is where summer as a framework was brought into. And this is basically, SUMMER is an acronym for System for Advanced Manufacturing, Assessment and Rating. So that is what we call SUMMER. So as I mentioned, it is basically, this model was developed because it was considered to, when we were looking at certain areas of defense manufacturing, one of the things that was realized was that when it comes to the reliability or the capability of our organizations to develop high-end systems or even small components when it comes to MSMEs, there's still a challenge, in terms of quality and reliability. And that is where it was envisaged. We carried out one assessment of a key project of DRDO, where we not only looked at the project, its entire quality system, but also the critical vendors who are part of it. And that is where, the outcome that we could all see was that there was a huge gap where a lot of the organizations, the large enterprises certainly have the resources, but when it comes to especially the mid and small and entrepreneurs or enterprises, they had a lot of challenges and they were actually, they are struggling to figure out what could be their roadmap to quality and reliability or defense manufacturing excellence. So to ensure that not only our small and medium enterprises become, excellent organizations or outstanding organizations, but also to assist the large enterprises, to become the benchmark for the globe. This model was developed, and it is basically a collaboration between DRDO and QCI. This is applicable to all the defense manufacturing enterprises, whether micro, small, medium, or large. And the idea why summer came up was basically to provide an objective assessment of manufacturing capability of defense manufacturing enterprises. So during our initial assessments or when we were working on the model, one thing we realized when we carried out the assessment that for a similar kind of component where there were 5 or 10 different entities, the capabilities, the quality, the reliability, it was at varying scale. And that becomes a big concern because, as I mentioned, when it comes to defense production, we need to be 100% sure that whatever system we are implementing, whatever is being deployed at the front line, it must always work. There has to be 100% accuracy, right? So that is where there was a need that we should be able to have a system which could provide an objective assessment of the manufacturing capabilities. And while we do this, this would actually help DRDO or any enterprise which is into defense manufacturing, because most of the enterprises who are at the higher rank would have multiple suppliers or vendors. So there was a need that we should be able to understand where are the capabilities that lie in terms of quality, reliability, and people capabilities. So therefore, while we developed this model, also an objective was to help all these enterprises who undergo the assessment get a comprehensive report, which would help them to benchmark their performance across a range of business capabilities. And therefore, the idea was that because most of these organizations, they perform a specific task, right? And while they do this, they should be aware that where they stand on a scale of, let's say, 1 to 5, if 5 is a world-class level of performance, where do they stand? So the model was created not only to evaluate objectively the capabilities, but also to empower our organizations, defense manufacturing enterprises, to understand, to benchmark their performance and take a leapfrog from there. And this would also actually help us as we start evaluating. We have already started evaluating. There are almost 200 organizations that have already come into the summer ecosystem. And while we do this, over a period of time, we would be able to create a credible database of defense manufacturers to help DRDO labs and projects for ease in vendor selection and development. So now this is not only for just DRDO labs or DRDO or their projects, but also for all the enterprises that look for a credible supply chain. So Summer is going to create a database of reliable organizations into defense manufacturing, so that any enterprise that is looking for partners for short term or long term, they can look at the database, they can look at the rating, and they will be able to quickly identify who are the guys with whom we should be interacting. So this would substantially cut down the time that large enterprises, or even let's say medium size or small enterprises, would otherwise spend in just qualifying a vendor for a particular task, qualifying a partner for a particular task. And while we do these three activities, ultimately we would be moving towards, or rather contributing towards, strengthening the defense manufacturing ecosystem in the country, and realize the vision of making India Atmanirbhar in defense manufacturing. Not only that, while these systems that are defined under Summer are implemented, we would propel our organizations to be world class, and that is where we would be able to stand tall with the developed countries and the countries that are into heavily into defense exports. So now coming to the model, there are two models in Summer. One is for large enterprises, and another one is for the MSMEs, because of course MSMEs operate at a smaller scale. Many times they are involved into developing just one component. So the models have been separate. So there are two models, and each model has got 10 broad disciplines. So what I call a broad discipline is basically a broad system, something like human resource capability, something like organizational mindset and leadership capabilities, quality management. So these are broad 10 disciplines, and each of these broad disciplines has multiple parameters. We call them parameters, but essentially these are processes and systems. So for large, there are 45 parameters. For MSMEs, there are 40 parameters. And the level, if we talk about the level of maturity, there are 5 maturity levels. So Summer is basically based on a maturity assessment model. And when I say maturity assessment model, the beauty of this model is, number one, it is an indigenously developed model within our own country. DRDO and QCI together, we have developed this model. Number two, I can proudly say that there is, while you will look at the model in depth, you'll realize that there is no such maturity assessment model that exists anywhere globally. And number three, being a maturity assessment model, this gives a quantitative measure of quality and reliability. In most of the systems, like whether it is ISOs or AS 9100 and multiple such standards, we can see that basic systems are in place. But if you ask, if 5 enterprises, all of them have AS 9100, which one is better, it will be difficult for us to tell, right? But in Summer, you will see the rating, overall rating, and that will tell you that if all have, let's say, AS 9100, multiple other standards, They've been working with defense industry for pretty long time. But if you want to ask, out of these five enterprises that I want to, compare, one is the best, Summer will give you the answer. So that is the beauty of this model. And all these parameters that are within Summer, they are based on enabler and outcome concepts. So it means that the model not only evaluates the enabling systems, enablers are the systems, right? For example, the quality control system or reliability measurement system. So that becomes enabler, right? But there is also an outcome concept. So while we say that, okay, you have got a process control measures put in place, but what is the process capability level, right? What is the CPK value? So Summer gives that as well. So it is a very comprehensive model. So some organizations may have very good systems, but the outcomes may not be, proportionate. So this will give a clear gap where exactly the organization is lacking. And the moment they improve it, they are at the next level. So that is how Summer becomes a very good, very powerful tool to enable an organization go to the next level. And as I mentioned earlier, rating is based on a quantitative score. There is a weighted average, and every organization can be ranked from level 1 to level 5. Level 1 means the organization is still at a level where systems are not there right now. They're working on an ad hoc level. But level 5 is a world-class level where the organization has the not only the capabilities, but the ability to transform and lead others. And the validity of rating is 2 years. We are now also contemplating, because we have got a lot of certifications already that have come in. Some feedback is coming. So we are looking at, extending this for another couple of years so that it becomes easier for the organizations to get into the system, because this is just a start. And the another beautiful part is this is end-to-end online system. For the assessments, we have developed mobile apps. So the assessors carry out the assessment through the mobile apps. Organizations need to apply through the system, that is, they can use their web interface. Once they register, entire process becomes online. Assessors will use the mobile apps. While they capture the evidence during the assessment, it gets geotagged and timestamped. It means the latitude and longitude is captured, the time is captured, and there is a team sitting behind at QCI office that monitors the assessment. So they know exactly when an evidence has been captured, whether the assessor is carrying out the assessment in a fair manner, transparent manner. So there is a real-time monitoring also. So this is a multi-level monitoring that is involved. But this entire process is not to restrict anyone, but to ensure that there's a complete transparency and objectivity, because ultimately the report that comes out must add value to the organization and also to all the stakeholders. And while we talk about the assessments, our assessors, who are the assessors, is basically the officials or officers who have worked in the defense sector. So there we have, distinguished scientists from DRDO, from DGQA, officers from the three services. So these are the people who have either worked on the platform, either in R&D or in quality assurance or in maintenance, or the guys who have themselves manned those platforms and weapon systems. So that gives them the first-hand experience of how things should work, what is the improvement. And that is where, when these experts, these gentlemen come to your, to the enterprises, they're able to add a lot of value to the organization. So that is how this entire framework has been developed to transform this defense quality ecosystem. Now, these are the 10 disciplines that I was talking about. The model has been broken down into 10 broad disciplines. As I said, organization and leadership, quality management, human resources, design capability. Then comes technology, what kind of technologies they have expertise in, operations, supplier and material management, safety and security. And we have, sorry, these are, then finance we have. So this is how all these 10 disciplines are put in a structured manner, so that we are able to evaluate the organization in a very objective manner, understand every capability that an organization needs to have to be जो हम कहते हैं लंबी रेस का घोड़ा. So that is the kind of thing that we are looking at. Now, coming to an example of the discipline, that is quality management. This is the second discipline. But under quality management, there are, if you see, there are 8 parameters. Now, this defense quality standards. So this is where we evaluate how well the organization is aware about defense quality standards, not only the national or local ones, but also the global standards. So obviously, an organization that is at level 5 is expected to have a very clear understanding and awareness of what are the latest standards and how they can add value to them, right? And their adoption level. Similarly, quality and reliability management processes, configuration management system is there. We talk about process, not only about process control, but also process capability measurement, which gives a measure of what is the capability of the critical processes within the organization. Then product testing and final inspection, in process quality performance. So now, when we talk about quality and reliability management processes or configuration management system, these are enablers, but how well they have been put in place and what is the outcome can be seen in process quality performance, field performance. So that is how the concept of enabler and outcome comes into each of these disciplines. Now, just to give you a snapshot of how these 5 levels appear, right? So again, this model, every parameter has been broken down into requirements, and these requirements are broken down into planning, deployment, and review, right? That's monitoring, basically, we call PDM. That is, normally you all would have heard about PDCA model, right? So that is again taken into concept. So when we say, let's say, process control, so the first thing that the model helps in evaluation is how well the process control has been planned. So at level 1, there is no plan for process control. Level 2, it's just basic control plans are in place, right, to satisfy customer or regulatory requirements. So there is no inherent idea of implementing this. But as we move further, so level 3 says critical process are proactively planned considering the requirements, etc. Now, level 3 is where usually you will see the systems are in place, like they may have AS 9100 or they may have ISO certification, but that is just to establish a basic minimal process requirement. But when we talk about level 4, we say that whether the processes are proactively planned, whether validation and verification happens, right? And it is basically not only with respect to customer or regulatory requirements, but also the product or process requirements. And at level 5, we talk about, the process being benchmarked with global best practices. So that is how this model helps an organization to see a roadmap, how they can, from being a novice, they can become a world-class organization. So every input that is required has been put up in the model. Now, when it comes to deployment, the execution, so they have planned it. Now, when we look at the execution, we ask certain questions, like, for example, whether process control is manual, that is level 2. At level 3, we see it is automated or computer controlled. Now, out of the identified processes, how many are within range, within control as per control plan? So this is how this entire framework has been defined for every parameter. So you can now see how beautifully it will bring you. This is the monitoring part, right? Now, this will bring you a complete understanding of the capability of an organization, at what level they are. And it is also possible that an organization may be very good at planning, but not so good in execution, but again, very good at monitoring. Now, all this gets factored in the rating that we carry out. So based on this entire process, I've already explained this part, that it is mobile app geotagging and time stamping that happens. Based on that, the final rating comes out like this. So from level 1 to level 5. So if the score is up to 1.5, it means level 1. But if it is, let's say, more than 2.5 and till 3.5, it is level 3. So that is where one of the biggest challenge that we always, as quality professionals and practitioners, we face is how do we quantify the quality performance? And with Summer, we have been able to achieve that. So that is why I can today tell you with all the confidence that if you give me 10 enterprises manufacturing the same product, I will be able to specifically tell you where the overall capability of that organization or all these organizations lies in on a scale of 1 to 5. Number 2, if you ask me specific questions, like, for example, if you say out of these 5, who's got a better design capability, I will be able to dive deeper into the report and I'll give you the score. I'll give you why they are, better in design capabilities. So that is how Summer gives a quantitative rating. And there's a whole lot of calculation that happens. So here, there's a very simplistic calculation that you see. But at the background, because there's an algorithm that has been developed, 45 or 40 parameters in place, each parameter will have planning, deployment, and monitoring, and every one of these has a different factor that will be multiplied finally to get a particular score. So it is pretty complex, but system actually technology helps us do it seamlessly. And while we do this, this is what the levels signify. So level one is about largely ad hoc processes. So an organization that is level one, you can know that it's largely ad hoc. But if, let's say, level three, processes are standardized. Level four means they're not only standardized, but measured and controlled. And finally, level five is basically an optimized process where the systems are globally benchmarked. And not only the organization grows, but it helps their supply chain, their partners also to learn and grow along with them. So that is how Summer becomes an extremely powerful tool. Now, one more important aspect that I would like to share, how this model becomes really very powerful and without any influence. So while the assessment is carried out through the experienced, seasoned professionals, ultimately they are just the custodians of verifying the evidence on the ground against the requirements. But when they conclude the assessment, they are still not aware what is the rating that the organization is going to get, because it is not in their hands. So tomorrow, let's say there is an organization which is owned by my friend, and he tries to influence me saying that, Dr. Shukla, can you help me get level 4 or level 5? I cannot do that. Basically because there is a rating committee which has very senior officials from DRDO, from various other organizations who come together. They look at each and every assessment report, they go through it, and the final rating is in their hands. So it is almost next to impossible to influence a particular rating of an organization. So this is the confidence and the trust that I can give you, that using this model, not only the organization that use this model, they will be able to get an objective view of where they stand on a rate, on a scale of 1 to 5, but also they will get a roadmap on how they can actually, within a specified time frame, strategically they can build their capabilities and become a world-class organization manufacturing highly reliable components and products and systems. Now coming to the application process, uh, the process is completely online. So there has to be a registration online that will have to be made by the interested enterprise. Uh, DRDO will look at the application. They will give the approval. Once approval is given, there has to be a fee that is required to be paid, and the fee is also very nominal. And then the date of assessment is to be selected by the applicant organization. And once they select a date, the assessors would be allocated. They will go to the unit and they'll carry out the assessment. And once this is done, the rating committee will look at the assessment and they will finally grant the rating. So this is how the process has been, it's completely online and very objective and rational. Another thing is to encourage, organizations, especially micro and small, because they have, they have a lot of challenges to face. DRDO has given a subsidy on the certification fee. So for micro enterprises, there's a subsidy of up to 80%. And for small enterprises, it is 50% subsidy. So for micro and small, this becomes as good as almost a free assessment that is happening, but it adds a lot of value to them, because senior officials, who have a lot of expertise and experience go there. They not only carry out the assessment, but they educate also the enterprises on what are the best practices, how they can, go to the next level. And of course, the report that comes into. And apart from that, they become a part of this credible database that we are creating as part of the Summer system. So that is, how the Summer is positioned. And now if you look at the benefits, number one, it is an objective assessment, which helps an organization understand where they are today. It helps them to benchmark the performance, because they would be able to know where their peers are. And that is where this will instill a competitive spirit. And finally, they will be, as I mentioned earlier, they will become a credible database of defense manufacturers. This will not only be a database, but this will bring them a huge opportunity, because as we are growing now in defense manufacturing, every large enterprise or DRDO labs, they will need partners who can partner with them for a long-term, association. So this database, any MSME that is MSME or large enterprise that is part of this database, they will see more business opportunities coming their way. And finally, together, because it's not only that the framework has been developed, DRDO and QCI are involved, but every enterprise that comes to take this summer assessment and moves on to become a more capable organization, together we can strengthen the defense manufacturing ecosystem in the country. And I'm sure if we come together, we would be able to give a shape to what we are looking at as a Viksit Bharat. And now, if I look at, if I have to give you some examples of what kind of organizations are taking summer assessment, so these are some of the names, right? Godrej in Boyce, Amphenol, CNC India, Ambitronics, Nandan, Paras Defense. All these are already, certified on summer, and many more are in process. In fact, there are many more who are certified. I have not been able to put everything on the slide, but this is just an indicative list, and the number is growing. So I would, urge all of you who are from, if you are from defense manufacturing, your organization has already not applied for summer. I would urge you all to apply, at least go through the model, that will itself give you confidence that it has the ability to transform the way you think about manufacturing excellence, the way you think about defense production. And that will give you confidence to go further and become a part of this wonderful journey that we all are going to be part of now. So with this, my presentation is over. Thank you so much for listening to me, and all the best to all of you.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Ramanand Shukla, for sharing your expertise on the summer framework and its role in enhancing maturity in defense manufacturing. There is one question, Mr. Group Captain R.K. Narang asked. The summer is applicable to MSME and large industry. Is there any thought on certification of startups to help them grow?
Yes, in fact, that is already on our radar, and we are, developing a model which is, it has been in fact developed for the startups also. And very soon that will also become live. So even startups can benefit from this certification and rating.
Fine, sir. So thanks to the entire team who worked on this summer, I could see the traces of ARP 9134, Aerospace Supply Chain Risk Management, and IAQG, Aerospace Improvement Maturity Model, and all other best practices you have adopted. So this will work undoubtedly strengthen the Indian defense ecosystem and enhance its global competitiveness to support this Make in India initiative and the defense export policy.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, so let's move to the next session. So the next session topic is about resilience needs significant investment in technology, infrastructure, and workforce skilling. How to address cost of compliance while increasing resilience. It's a distinct honor to introduce Mr. Vijay Shankar Prajapati, a leader and an accomplished expert in aerospace quality and manufacturing excellence. He currently serves as an associated vice president and head of corporate quality at Tata Advanced System Limited, a role where he oversees the quality initiative across the plants, 8 plants and 3 locations with a team of over 700 professionals. With a remarkable 28 years of experience in the aerospace sector, Mr. Vijay Shankar Prajapati expertise spans a wide array of international quality certification like various management system, quality, environment, health and safety, information security, and accreditation. His commitment advancing quality standard in aerospace has positioned TASL as a global leader in QA and process excellence. And in his tenures, previously held a position AGM, head of quality at Godrej and Boyce, where he also contributed to manufacturing business unit leadership. And he has worked with multiple global OEMs. And one important thing what I would like to highlight here is he is the country leader for Asia Pacific Aerospace Quality Group. And he serves as a supply chain and book management PSCA leadership team at IAQG. And he is also a governing council member of Indian Aerospace Quality Group. And he is also a member of BAS Committee for Aircraft, Space Vehicle, Air Cargo Handling, and Aircraft Electrical Equipment, Sectional Committee TED 14. He is also a valued member of the Project Review and Steering Committee at IIT Mumbai and contributing to the development of hybrid layered manufacturing technology. Mr. Vijay Shankar Prajapati is a mechanical engineer by background and holds a master degree in engineering business management from University of Warwick, UK. So his blend of technical expertise and strategic acumen makes him an asset not only to the tassel but to the aerospace industry at large. So please join me in extending a warm welcome to Mr. Vijay Shankar Prajapati. We are truly fortunate to have him here to share his insights and experiences in building quality excellence and operational resilience in aerospace manufacturing. Yes.
Karthi, is my screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so thank you, Karthik, for a wonderful opening. I probably don't deserve the kind of words you have used it. And thank you for inviting me. I think GCC and MSCC for giving this opportunity. I was very thrilled with the earlier speaker, Group Captain Dr. Narang, on his insights and an amazing talk. Dr. Shukla has touched a lot of things on the maturity model, and you have said about AIM. I think the compliance is the basic thing, but if companies need to really grow, they will have to adopt some kind of maturity model. AIM is one of them, which actually helps to do an internal assessment about how the processes are maturing. And I think Sabar would certainly, Dr. Shukla will add a lot of feather to this. Uh, we at Tata follow TBM as an excellence business model, and we understand how important it is not to just focus on compliances. Compliance is just an entry to the entry, and then if you want to really become a force, and the way the India is looking to become a force in aerospace and defense manufacturing, I think tools like Summer, AIM, other business excellence models would certainly help. With that, I will go ahead with my talk today. The topic which is given to me is about resilience needs significant investment in technology, infrastructure, and workforce skilling. How to address cost of compliances while increasing resilience in aerospace and defense. The very important thing, what is needed to understand is what business we are in, and this is the theme which we internally use. While a lot of people will say that we are into a business of manufacturing the aircraft part, but if you really understand the gist, we are not actually in business of just making the aircrafts. We are in business of the safe transporting of human life, whether it is a common civilian life or military life, from one place to another. And if you have that particular thought in developing the systems and processes, then I think it will meet the requirement. Then you will go beyond the just compliances, and you look into more matured system and processes which continuously will deliver the products and systems which are required to meet the international customer and consumer requirements. I have just two slides to tell you what we do at Tassel. Tassel today, we have 8 out of the top 10 global aerospace and defense customers. Basically, and then obviously the Indian sectors like DRDO and ISRO and HAL, we are working with various. It's proud for India that no, today if you fly any of the commercial aircraft, you will find something which is made from the Tassel. We have close to 70 plus programs which are going on. The red ones here are, we are the global single source, and even on the military side, we are almost on to all the key packages or the key programs which are run globally. Uh, on Aero Engine, we started our journey in 2016, and today we can say that the kind of capabilities, we are one of the biggest suppliers to GE on the LEAP program, which is based onto the single aisle on Airbus and Boeing. And we have now recently signed a contract with Safran and Pratt and Whitney to do a very, very complex, the parts for the hot section. Now, what this will obviously do, the capabilities which are built are for the enhancement of the technical capabilities at a national level, and this will certainly help us into developing the indigenous products. Uh, at Tassel, what we have decided is to decide the business processes. So we have looked at three inputs, which is typically the customer expectation, what customer is requiring, on-time quality, 100% quality and compliance to the requirements, global competitive pricing, data security, our own strategic objective, the operating environment which we operate, and this is very important because of the demands in the aerospace industry, high need of traceability, configuration control, documentation, highly regulated, largely manual nature of work, typically in the aerostructure field, global supply chain, raw material is still globally sourced, uh, and the turbulences like the Red Sea issues or the other the current conflicts which are going on, they keep on creating an impact on us. Growth requires industrialization of a new programs, repeatability, reliability, and rapidly. The second is the competition which we are having. The competition is around the world. So there are Japanese, there are Chinese, there are Koreans, and all the other advanced countries, and we need to bridge the gap by our systems and processes. At the same time, our own organization requirement. So what we have done at Tassel at that we have looked at six key business processes to build our resilience. One is benchmark systems and processes, culture of quality, risk management, skilling, technology, and external partnership. What we typically do is that in benchmark systems and processes, we have very clearly defined and communicated our vision mission. uh, we do the process benchmarking, maturity assessment. We have been one of the initial user of AIM, and not only the user, but also we gave a lot of feedback to IAQG about making it more usable, and the problems which we do, which we encounter using this tool. So I think the new AIM is an advanced version. uh, Fact-based decision making, clearly defining the KPIs in the systems and processes. Cybersecurity is another area where we have given a lot of emphasis because we are dealing with huge IP data. Lean and stable, so that forms the part of the benchmark systems and processes. Another extremely important factor is the culture of quality and safety, and I think very very important aspect. This year we have been audited 4 times by regulatory body audits, 3 times by FAA and another European agency. And I think the strength of our systems and processes, all the 4 audits were successfully completed without zero non-conformance, with zero non-conformances, not even minor non-conformances. What we have done is that the open and rewarding work culture, we follow a culture called defect is acceptable. So if somebody comes and says that there is a problem and I have created a defect, he basically gets rewarded because he allows us to find out the gap in our system and close them. Communication is big part. Safety, reward and recognition. Risk management, we have created a robust framework, bottom up approach. That risk from a bottom working level person to the top management, so that the systems can be strengthened. Effective identification and tracking. Skilling, all of us know that getting a ready-made skill for the aerospace is something, even touch non-touch both areas. So we have created our own frameworks for creating through Gurukul and Hunarshala for touch and non-touch labor. And the most important is how do we become effective, efficient, and innovative. Focus on digital and technology. uh, Having a data integrity is very very important. Single version of truth. Automating manual task and looking into automating the complex processes. In the benchmark systems and processes, so like I said, we have very clearly defined vision and mission. What is right for us. We created a very strong processes like the program great transition, from a business acquisition to the program maturity level and program closure. We have created a strong digital tool onto the program management gate, and it takes care of from inquiry to the learnings register after the business is closure. uh, we have also to define our quality management system. We have used an APQC's PCF framework, process classification framework. And what we keep doing is one important thing is that we keep reviewing our processes every now and then. And when we started in acquiring other units of the Tassel, we went into the process optimization benchmarking. We Today all our 8 sites operate on one single multi-site QMS process. It's one a single umbrella certification for all. What it helps to the customer, employees, everybody, that wherever they operate from, they have one single version of the truth. They have to follow one single processes. uh, Another very important thing, historically last 10-12 years, we have had all the golden nuggets in form of the non-conformances learning and the corrective action management. We created a system based on to AS 9131 non-conformance management. We codified all our non-conformances into defects, process code, cost code, and corrective action code. And we have created a front working tool which is called Skynet. Now you can just inquire any part number or the process code or the defect code, and it will tell you all the history. What it does is that it has helped us in industrializing the new product, and it also helps us into deploying an APQP framework for the new program. The robustness of the RRCA can be seen through this one. You can monitor the repetitiveness of the non-conformance. So these systems, the focus on creating systems and processes, has really helped us in our journey. The culture of quality and safety, like I mentioned, defect is acceptable, very open and reward culture. uh, Another factor which I think aerospace industry is asking about, the human factors. We have started focusing on well-being and mental health. We are looking at analysis. We provide support to all our employees if they are going through the health issues related to the mental health or their general health, and provide an environment which allows them to freely work without any problem. Collaboration is another very important part. I think Karthi has mentioned our role in the leading the Indian Aerospace Quality Group. But what it has done is that it has allowed us to give our voice to the International Aerospace Quality Forum. Today, many companies are part of the standard making, standard modification, or creating guidance material through SCMH PSCI. Um, we were also, with a collaboration in IAQG, we were able to establish the first AB. NABCB is accredited now as first accreditation body in India for the AS 9100. We are also created an Indian RMS structure which will monitor the ABs, CBs, and we now have 5 oversight representative qualified within the aerospace industry, which will be able to monitor the Indian RMS structure. These two initiatives were very, very important to ensure that the voices of Indian industries are heard at an IAQG level. So that we are able to do through this collaboration. This also puts the teams who are working on developing the standard or creating the new standard, been able to work with the experts in from the other part of the world, European sector and American sectors. And when I've been talking to the teams into the INAQG meetings, they are really, really excited, and industries are feeling that they are getting benefited. Uh, Very important, if you want to keep culture of quality and safety, you must celebrate, acknowledge the contributions. So the having those various interventions in terms of rewards and recognition, that we have been focusing. uh, Digital and technology has been another very important factor. I think last 4 years we have been able to do a big headway into this one. The three very simple decision logic which we are using is process automation. Wherever there are processes which are manual and can be automated, automate them. Decision support, wherever there is where there's a critical decision making, we have provided tools which can assist into decision making. And then connected assets is basically our focus toward the predictive maintenance. All the new machines which are coming with the IoT, we have connected them with the central. So on the machining centers, the thermal mapping, the vibration mapping we are able to do, and we are able to keep the uptime of the machines. uh, There are almost 20 different odd tools, either whether it is internationally available or we have created ours within collaboration of some Indian companies or within our Tata group of companies. We have created a lot of digital tool to be able to support us into this journey. uh, Leveraging technology, so few of these examples you will see. We used to a closed structure of aircraft, doing the foreign object debris identification was one other major challenge which we had. So we created a simple mobile based setup, and today a person is able to just take a mobile picture, and he's able to identify 100 plus varieties of FODs. This is an AI ML based learning. We are moving away from a conventional coordinate measuring machine to more advanced technologies like blue light scanning and many more other. There are hundreds of different projects which we have implemented as far as the digital and technology is concerned. On skilling, three areas of focus: recruitment, skill enhancement, and career progression. Uh, all our touch labor, we go through 6 to 9 months of theoretical and practical training in our dedicated Hunar Shalas. After recruitment, and once they are able to actually do the work which is required, then they are sent for the on-the-job training, and subsequently after multiple gated qualification and certification, they are put onto the actual job. The second factor was, while touch we had addressed, we needed our technical staff in MNP, quality and engineering, to be able to gain the subject matter expertise. So we created a French framework through Gurukul, where there are different interventions planned, including sponsoring diploma holders for degree holders to do the masters, and masters to do the PhD. Few of our employees are currently pursuing a specific PhD in areas which we are interested. Now, this has actually helped us to strengthen the technical teams in both touch and non-touch category. The external partnership, again, very important aspect, building the ecosystem uh, within the country and even the outside country. What we have taken is an approach of the partnership, from providing a technical support to all the suppliers. C295 is a classic example. When we started industrializing, we needed to industrialize 15,000 different parts. So we found out, and this is first time any Airbus defense program is getting industrialized in India. So all the specification, NatCap certification, we took an approach of working with the APQP. We have a completely integrated digital tool for the APQP. We do a tech assist, completely handholding, including supporting them into the first article in realization, NatCap audit, special process prover, and a digital system which will completely monitor the integrated source to pay platform. Supplier code of conduct is a very important factor, and we have seen in the recent days when the issues happen with the aircrafts, and that is why we are working very closely. We created a dedicated supplier code of conduct. We periodically train them, we do some kind of assessment along with them, we identify vulnerabilities and work with this. And the other important tool is the common risk sharing, risk sharing with the supplier. If they fail, then the whole program fails. So we are very focused with supplier on the risk sharing. Overall organization risk management, we have created a digital framework for the from enterprise level to the program level and to the functional level. Each level there are risks been identified, they're been periodically monitored. Risk mitigations, risk elimination, those are very periodic. It's become a part of a culture of organization, that if there is any kind of gap in the system, it will become a part of the risk tool, and will get analyzed very effectively. What I wanted to say that, no, while there was a topic, the topic about the cost, but if we really actually start thinking about the cost at the start, then we'll get deviated from our path. This chart I have taken it from the APQP framework, which basically says if you focus more on prevention, then the cost actually reduces. So initially it may be it will take a time, but then you achieve the maturity very fast. So creating a resilience through the systems and processes, focusing on to prevention, identification of the failures, and upfront mitigating them is important, and that you can do through robust systems and processes, innovation using the digital and technology, constant skill enhancement, promoting well-being and mental health of the employees, cultivating strong quality culture and open communication, empowering employees through the engagement and recognition. Uh, I think that's all which I wanted to share today.
Right, sir. So thank you, Mr. Vijayashankar Prajapati, for your practical insights on managing compliance cost in a way that support resilience. Thank you for sharing your quality strategies. I'm sure the industry and ASD ecosystem learns a lot from this. My personal favorite is that human factor and just culture. even though now it is mandated in AS 13,100, and
Yeah.
adoption of AS 9131 and digitization, particularly the FOD detection app. So, and one single QMS across the plant, irrespective of program. Your
Yeah.
experience in quality management has provided our audience with valuable strategies for maintaining cost-effective compliance. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Karthi, and thank you for this opportunity with the August gathering. Thank you.
So I'll share to the next speaker. So the next session is about staying compliant means more certification, commitment to product safety and quality standard. What is the way forward? The focus is more on compliance, resilience, or organizational performance. It's absolute pleasure to introduce Mr. Vikrant Patil, a seasoned expert in metallurgical quality control and heat treatment, particularly within aviation, space, and defense industry. Mr. Vikrant Patil holds a bachelor degree in metallurgical engineering from prestigious College of Engineering, Pune, which laid the foundation for his remarkable career in this specialized field. With 19 years of experience, Mr. Vikrant Patil has built a reputation for excellence in managing advanced quality systems in metallurgical processes. His expertise lies in special process development, and he has achieved extensive NADCAP accreditation, one of the highest standard in aviation, space, and defense sector. And Mr. Patil has accomplished noteworthy and impactful. He was the driving force being securing India's first forging NADCAP accreditation, Triple. And in addition, he's secured laboratory approval from aerospace giants like Boeing, Safran, and Rolls-Royce. And he played a key role in Boeing's qualification, like D14426 for BMS 7247 and BMS 7351. And he is also serves as a special control authority for heat treating projects with Honeywell. So please join me in giving warm welcome to Mr. Vikrant Patil. We're eager to hear from you today and learn from his deep expertise in metallurgical quality control and his contribution in raising standard of excellence in the aviation industry.
Thanks, Kati, for your kind words. Am I audible?
Yes.
Just give me a moment while I share my screen. So are you able to see my screen?
Make it full screen, sir.
Yeah. So I hope the screen is visible, Kati, now.
Yes.
Thanks a lot. Yeah. Good afternoon, all. Good afternoon, all the dignitaries on the virtual dais, industry leaders, quality professionals, and engineers who have spared their time today and attended this session. This shows their commitment towards advancing quality and safety, thereby striving for excellence. First of all, wishing all of you a very quality week, and may this session and the entire event motivates all of you to embark the zero defect journey in each walk of your life. With this, let's start with the today's topic: building resilience in aerospace and defense, staying compliant through certifications, commitment to product safety and quality standards. The agenda for this session, which has been assigned to me. So the current presentation of mine shall broadly talk about the two aspects. Firstly, I would like to share my own thoughts on this year's quality theme, that is quality from compliance to performance. In this, I will try to propose all of you a roadmap that is what all we want to embark to excel in our ASD industry. Okay, and secondly, the topic which has been assigned to me, staying compliance and way forward, how to achieve this particular milestone, and which will be then followed by the question and answer sessions. So I am personally obsessed with this theme, compliance to performance, and as most of our eminent dignitaries and the speakers, co-speakers of mine have already highlighted the importance of this mentality from going from compliance to performance or excellence. So even at Bharat Forge, our QMS has a tagline that moving from compliance to excellence. So taking quality from compliance to performance level in the aerospace industry, or maybe any other sector for that matter, involves transitioning from a mentality of merely meeting regulatory standards to proactively achieving superior operational performance and continuous improvement. This transition process includes deliberate and focused efforts to strive for excellence, thereby visionary leadership support, developing competent and passionate people, and adopting robot processes. So, if we consider the journey of compliance to performance, basically requires three pillars: leadership, people, and processes. If we look into the typical mentality of compliance, so basically it always focuses on meeting the bare minimum requirements set by the standards, wherein mostly the mentality is complacent. Whereas when the organization decides to move into the excellence mode, it always focuses on exceeding the minimum standard requirements, which our A standard has always recommended to exceed to the requirements. It emphasizes onto the excellence, promotes the innovation throughout the processes and products, and it has a value creation across all the aspects of operations. So if we look into the broad roadmap, what any organization, emerging organization into the ASD to adopt the performance based or the excellence based maturity, there are few things which I would recommend. The organization needs to adopt a performance oriented mindset. Most of these things have already been covered by Vijay sir in his earlier presentation. I'll reiterate some of them deliberately. The second thing one can do is implement a total quality management approach, the Kaizen approach. Encourage the employees to participate into the Kaizens, integrate the key performance indicators, KPIs, beyond compliance. The next thing one can do is leverage advanced technologies for performance monitoring as well as operations. Foster a culture of performance and accountability. We'll see a few of them in detail in the subsequent slides. Then enhance the supplier quality management, which is a need of our considering our growth into the ASD industries as far as India is concerned. Adopt a lean manufacturing and Six Sigma for the performance optimization. Focus on the customer centric quality, and foster the cross functional collaboration for performance improvement. And lastly, risk management. We have talked a lot about this aspect as a performance driver. Now, if we go into the details of these particular attributes, mindset. So I think adopting a mindset of continuous improvement, innovation, going above and beyond the regulatory standards. For example, traditional maintenance standards versus the predictive maintenance system, or the use of the various maturity tools. We have just talked a lot about this, and Dr. Ramchandra has beautifully explained the use of the summer assessment. And similarly, Vijay sir has talked about the IQG developed AIM, that is Aerospace Improvement Maturity Model. IQG has beautiful supply chain management handbook, which is freely available for all the aspirants who want to develop their system to the excellence mode into the ASD industry. Aero Engine Supplier Quality Group, ASQ, has got beautiful tutorials if one decides to go into the excellence mode. So I kindly request all the young generations and aspirants to make utilization of this particular thing. As far as Bharat Forge is considered, and as Vijay sir has also iterated, we are also proactively participating into the assessing our current quality management system as per the AIMM protocols. And what we have done is that we have kept a benchmark of level 3 maturity for ourselves. And the entire internal auditing system has been devised into around this particular maturity level. And wherever we feel that we are lagging the maturity level from 3 to below, we are generating the internal non-conformances, trying to improve into this particular maturity. The second topic which we can concentrate is on the total quality management, encouraging all the employees to participate into the Kaizen and suggest the improvements proactively. use the PDCA cycle. The next one is on the KPIs, defining the KPIs. Again, I would recommend the forum to refer Supply Chain Management Handbook by IAQG, which gives beautiful insight on the defining of KPIs and how the KPIs can be defined in a smart way. Then the employee engagement accountability comes with the employee engagement, engaging employee in finding ways to improve the efficiency of the safety checks or better utilizing materials can foster both quality and performance gains. We at Bharat Forge to have this employee engagement have since last more than 2 years have started a program called as employee engagement program, which happens every month, wherein all the stakeholders of the BU are given overview of the business quality aspects, as well as this provides a platform to present the kaizens which has been prepared by the team, which encourages them also and appreciates them. And we declare the star of the month, which basically boosts their morale and helps them to contribute more to the department. The last aspect, which I feel is a very key aspect, is the cross-functional collaboration. So all the business processes should have the mentality that quality comes or starts with me. Quality should not be only the with the quality assurance as it used to be traditionally. Whereas all the business processes, right from QMS, sales, and BD till the operations, has got role, and they have the quality within themselves, which needs to be acted upon always. So to conclude the global theme, compliance to performance. So in the aerospace industry, the ultimate goal is to exceed the minimum standards required by the regulators and deliver the exceptional performance in both product and operations. By moving beyond compliance and focusing on performance and excellence, companies can differentiate themselves. So this basically helps to increase their operational efficiency, improve the customer satisfaction, and build a long-term resilience. A holistic approach that integrates compliance, continuous improvement, and advanced technologies and strong leadership is a key driving to the transformation. By making quality a strategic asset, organization not only uh, meet the regulatory requirements, but also unlock the new levels of innovation and performance that give them a competitive edge in the marketplace. Moving to the next topic, which has been assigned to me, staying compliant with respect to the certifications and build a resilience system. So a potential roadmap, what I thought based on my maturity, I will just explain. So if we embrace a holistic compliance management system, strengthen our product safety and risk assessment frameworks, we have talked about this also, then invest in continuous training and certification programs, foster the collaboration with regulatory authorities at a very nascent stage and getting involved with them, then embedded quality management into the DNA of the operations, which I feel is again a very key aspects. Then incorporate digital transformation to improve the compliance and safety. Adopt the agile approach to certification and regulatory compliance. Then implement effective post-delivery support and feedback loops. And lastly, maintain the sustainability with compliance, which is a need of an hour. And we heard a lot about sustainability being now talked into the ASD industry also. Now, the next few slides will talk about how we can possibly embark this particular journey and go into the achieving the roadmap. So when I talk about the integrated compliance management system, okay, so if you consider the current scenarios to manage the complexities of the certifications, safety and quality standards, it's now essential for organizations to implement an integrated management system, which basically should include the compliance tracking. There are already software tools available which basically helps us to maintain the compliance tracking. Few examples could be CompliSpace or the Compliance Quest that basically help organizations to keep a track of the compliance. Then centralized document management system. The organization need to have a central manufacturing execution system. Either they can build themselves or can take from the agencies which are already into this. This will ensure basically the documentation in terms of the certification records, audits, inspections, which are easily accessible and up to date with built-in version control. This is crucial for both compliance audits as well as the product lifecycle management. Uh, One of the thing in this aspect, what we have evolved since last almost 9 years, when we understood the emphasis of digital transformation, we have customized and developed our entire data management system called as UDAN, along with the PLM Team Center software for the lifecycle management. So this Udan portal we have developed along with the outsider developers, wherein the business workflows and the entire inputs have been given by the team over here, and we have built up a very nice customized in-house data management system, which basically caters audit management, NC handling, production records, training records, change management records, and further going on. Then obviously one need to have a very robust change management system. When we talk about the product safety and risk assessment, I think this is another key aspect. Safety is the cornerstone of the aerospace operations, and one need to adopt a proactive safety culture. uh, uh, I think the standard itself talk about the risk-based thinking. So use the risk-based thinking methodologies and tools like failure mode and effect analysis, fault tree analysis to assess the potential risk at the early design stage as well as throughout the product life cycle. Then have the product safety reviews regularly in line with the regulatory requirements. Ensure these reviews take place at a key milestones into the product development and life cycle stages, helping to identify any safety concern or deficiencies into the product design or manufacturing process at a very early stage. Uh, then obviously we have talked about the training and certification need, which is also a very key aspect. uh, and Vijay sir has also mentioned nicely about the methodologies, what they have developed at TASL, talking about the Gurukul. Uh, I think, and Vijay sir has rightly mentioned that nowadays sourcing the competent human resources matching to the aerospace requirements is as good as challenging a task for any organization. So organization needs to build their own training framework in line with the ASD requirements, which will develop their current manpower to the requirements of the ASD standards and maintain this competency of them. Few of the things what we have adopted at our organization is that across the business processes we have predefined the required skill sets which are mandatory for any person to work into these particular business processes. We have the descriptors of these particular skill sets defined from starting from the skill level 1 to the skill level 4. Skill level 1 being the amateur level, whereas skill level 4 being designated as the subject matter expert of the organization. And then we have mapped the skill levels of each of our BU members, where they stand right now, what is the requirement of the management from them, and then how we can take them from a particular skill level to the next skill level with a very focused training programs. The next thing is collaboration with the regulatory authorities, which is very much essential when we get involved with the regulatory authorities. We need to foster a very collaborative relationship between the regulatory authorities and getting engaged them at a very early stage of the program. One of the example what I could quote is we are currently working with Semilac for getting our organization design organization approval scheme, wherein as a part of CFT we have requested Semilac team to be a part of our team, so that from the very first stage of the project we would be oriented ourselves in a very right path and achieving this particular milestone right first time. then the next step what we can do is adopting a culture of quality management as the DNA of the operations. This is another important thing. The next thing and foremost thing in the current scenario is adopting the digital transformation, utilization of the various current technologies like digital twin technology, big data and analytics, AI, ML, blockchain for the traceability. This is I must say is going to be a mandatory thing for all the ASD industries across India going ahead if they want to maintain the systems agile. Then have the feedback loops. Okay, so post delivery surveillance, the feedbacks with the customers and the other stakeholders, having the incident reporting and the root cause analysis, and finally the sustainability. So sustainability in terms of the practices, certifications, and reducing the carbon footprint. So if we see in order to conclude, the way forward involves integrating the safety, compliance, and quality management into every facet of the organization. That is from the sales, design, manufacturing, to the maintenance and post delivery. Adopting advanced technologies such as PLM, AI, blockchain, and digital twins, coupled with proactive approach to the risk management and collaboration with regulatory authorities, will definitely help aerospace companies navigate the complex certifications. Focusing on continuous learning and collaborative regulatory engagements, along with embedding these principles into our organizational culture, will enable the resilience in the face of evolving standards and ensure that aerospace products not only meet regulatory requirements but also exceed customer expectations for safety, quality, and reliability. To conclude my session, I will 100% echo with what Vijay sir has said into the previous presentation, that many times this is being taken by the industry as a overburden financially. However, if we really look into the potential cost of poor quality which might arise in absence of all these systems, that would be two-way heavy than the cost of quality what we are proactively going to adopt. So definitely, if we consider the cost of quality approach, going for these technologies and adopting these methods is going to help all the organizations in a sustainable manner. Uh, with this, I will conclude my session. I definitely feel as a part of Indian aerospace industry, we all can do it. Hashtag World Quality Week. I'll end the presentation with one of my favorite quote, which says, "Nothing is impossible. The word itself says, I am possible." So we can all do in a very nice manner. Thanks all. Thanks CCC for giving this opportunity and considering me um, competent and capable for this particular session. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Mr. Vikrant Patil, for your thoughtful discussion on balancing compliance with resilience and organizational performance, particularly the roadmap compliance to performance, starting from mindset, where you emphasize the usage of IAQG tools like AMM, and ASQ, SCHM, particularly accountability and collaborations. These strategies provide a clear path forward, enhancing resilience, ensuring safety, quality, reliability within the ASD industry. So thank you for your time. So let's move to the last session. So the next session topic is the hot topic, how startups can build resilience through innovation and meet market access compliance norms too. It's my honor to introduce visionary leader in the defense and aerospace sector, Mr. Vivek Kumar Pandey, the co-founder and CEO of Maral Aerospace Private Limited. Mr. Pandey is passionate defense and aviation enthusiast with an impressive career spanning over 18 years. Throughout his career, Mr. Pandey has held strategic position with esteemed organizations such as L&T Defense and Applied Electromagnetics. Among his many accomplishments, Mr. Pandey played a key role in end-to-end TOT of Lakshya 2 project from DRDO. His contribution to R&D for Pinaka multi-barrel rocket launch system electronic warfare solution, and the design and development of airborne nuclear use for platform like LCA and Su-30 MK have been instrumental in advancing India's defense capabilities. Mr. Pandey is an electronics and communication engineer graduate from West Bengal University of Technology. Please join me extending a warm welcome to Mr. Veyakumar Pandey. We are excited to learn from his experience and insights in the field of aerospace and defense technology.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot, Consultant Consortium of Chennai, for considering me and giving me this platform to speak. I also thank Group Captain Narang. It was very interesting session from him. He took us from 2014 onward. I have been an avid follower of his, so I follow his lot of his presentation seminars and all. Also, I thank Dr. Ramanand Sukla. It was a very interesting update from on the summer side, which we feel will be beneficial for us also. Also, thank Vijay Shankar ji, Vikrant ji for their insightful presentations. Yeah, I will share my screen now. One minute, sir. Is my screen visible, sir? Hello. Sir, is my screen visible to all?
Yes, Vivek.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. So the topic given to me today is regarding how startups can build resilience through innovations and meet market access compliance norms. So being from a drone startup and facing all these issues, I will share my perspective on the same. So I represent Maral Aerospace Private Limited. We are a deep tech solar powered UAV company working on very ultra long endurance solar powered UAVs. When I say ultra long endurance, it is in towards 12 hours and a one-way range of up to 150 kilometers from the ground station. So basically, if you see, uh, the Indian defense and drone industry is rapidly evolving. If you see currently, there are almost 200 drone companies, drone startups, which are doing wonderfully well right now. And it is one of the most, you can say, significant segment which country has seen growing in for the last few years. And this segment has a potential to transform the manufacturing and other industries from the perspective of defense and the agriculture side. Uh, as I said, it has enormous growth potential for the startups right now. Integrating emerging tech standards and certifications, complex These are some of the things which I will cover. Like there are complex regulatory landscapes. As a drone industry, I will tell you what is. Suppose I have a limit of flying my drones in the green zone as well as I have an altitude issue that I can't fly over 100 meters. For that, sorry, 120 feet. For that, I have to take permission. So that hinders my testing process. Every time I have to go and apply for a certificate for this permissions and all. The procurement, I will also brief on the procurement procedures also. Uh, R&D for focus sustainable business model and collaborative ecosystems, basically like for the startups like us, where we can utilize our platforms like IDS and TDS for our TDF. So when I say that how innovations is helping from a moral perspective, so basically if you see I will start with like we are our drone is a sustainable clean energy source. When we are being powered from solar energy. So we have solar cells which keep on charging the batteries continuously. Charging and discharging happens continuously, and that's how we are able to achieve 12 hours of endurance. Then we are working on incorporating a lot of AI and machine learning features in our system. Like we have onboard processors, so whatever image or whichever sensors we are using, the data go to OBC, onboard OBC, and we have implemented a lot of AI and machine learning features in our system. Then when we have almost achieved this like task-based autonomy. So suppose autonomous, it's a totally autonomous system. When I say right from launch to recovery, it's or your landing is a autonomous system. But what suppose between the mission also, if we give some command, it automatically the drone the executes that command. So we have given task-based, we are incorporating task-based autonomy in our system. Then also parallelly, right now we have just started working how our drones will operate in GPS jammed environment. So we are working on anti-jamming system also. We are also trying to inculcate some cybersecurity features in our system. We had presented our case to, we are a IIT Kanpur incubated startup. So there was one challenge posed by C3I. We are in the same building called Technopark, where your all defense test facilities being set up by Bell NHL. So they had organized basically a challenge where they wanted the drone companies how they are resilient to the cyber security threats and all. Recently, we have seen a lot of times in our China border, our drones are automatically hacked by the Chinese side. That they make it land on their side. So how to build that feature where we are resilient to their attacks on our system? Then swarming, enhanced connectivity. When I say enhanced connectivity, these are some innovative things which drone companies currently are working or can work. Enhancing connectivity, when I said when it's not only the data link, also we can operate with 5G networks. We can utilize 5G connectivity for our system, and also how to work in the so line of sight is easy, but how to work on the beyond line of sight communication, where how can this enhanced connectivity will help us. Then we are also working on developing few advanced sensor and data processing systems for our own, but it will take time. We are right now making the platform. And heavy lift drones are these are some of the innovations and innovative ideas which we are trying to work on. I'll just run through a video test flight of our drone. This is a fixed wing drone. This is IIT Kanpur runway only. And then I will explain the innovations what we have inculcated in this. This is one of our test flight of the first prototype. Yeah. We'll stop the video. So basically, we are using a patented technology. So we have introduced one additional control surface called oxyrun, which is under the belly of the aircraft. So now this is connected. This we have integrated with autopilot. We have done a lot of changes in the autopilot code where we are introducing additional control surface. And what it does that it gives the air, it tilts the aircraft or give a movement to the aircraft to tilt its wing towards the maximum intensity of the sun. So it tracks the sun's intensity as well as the tilts the aircraft to the maximum intensity, so that in any condition it will be always exposed to you can say the maximum intensity of the sun and have longer endurance. Then it's a clean source of energy, as I said. So we have batteries which can support up to 4 hours of endurance, but we keep on charging continuously using the solar cells. So charging and discharging is happening. That's how we are achieving your almost 12 hours of endurance. As I said, today drone industry in India, if you see the products being offered, they have a typical one-way range of around 40 kilometer and endurance of 3 hours maximum. That also is not proven. 90 minutes and 15 or 20 kilometer is proven. So that's one innovative angle what we have added, that we are trying to achieve your you can say 12 hours of endurance with 150 kilometer one way range. So you have effectively 300 kilometer dia. It can be enhanced also. We are working on the things where we'll be able to enhance the range. And you can say the operational range also is in one sortie we'll be able to cover almost 600 kilometers of total range. So our cruise speed is around 14 meter per second, which translate to 50 kilometer per hour. So in 12 hours we are covering this, but our top speed is 21 meter per second, so we will be effectively able to cover more than almost 600 kilometer in one sortie. Then also we are working on AES 256 protocol. Basically, it's for advanced encryption standards is being implemented. Then robust authentications we are using. I was referring to about C3I challenge. So there they had asked us to incorporate your AI, basically the cybersecurity features in our drone. So we have done some changes in the bootloader of the autopilot, and we are we are implementing this challenge response protocol. Suppose some communication or data comes to me, how I will identify whether it is my data or not, and how I will respond to that challenge. Then we are also implementing physical layers security. We are using tactical data links where we have implemented AES 256 your encryption features. The drone is laced with AI/ML features. Basically, since it's a long endurance and drone, so to utilize it maximum, like we are building features like where whatever images we are getting, we are applying AI/ML features to identify to get different data. Like it can be used in environmental monitoring, a lot of ISR features, how to map the enemy areas and all, intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance missions. And we can be able to collect lot of data from environment and then help in studying the climatic change and all. Some other companies which have done lot of innovation in drone segment are like New Space Research and Technology, where they have pioneered this swarm technology for both unmanned aerial vehicles and unmanned ground vehicles. Again, bot lab dynamics is one way where in the drone lighting source and all. They have also evolved a very good swarming your algorithm, and which is wonderfully. Then we have another company called Endure Air, which is again IIT Kanpur based. So they have, if you see, Indian defense has lot of the drones operating in Indian defense environment have to encounter gust, because we are normally operating in high altitude areas and all. So if you see the fixed wing drones, the quadcopters are unable to handle this gust properly. So this Endure Air is one company, or your fixed wing. I will explain about Endure. So what they have done, they are trying to counter. They have very good ability to counter those gust speed by changing the pitch of their helicopter plate. Similarly, fixed wing are the best suited to counter this gust speed and gust in the challenging environment. So these are the few other companies which have done a lot of very good innovation and were doing very. This is one area where we face continuously problems. So since we have experience, our team has experience of working on a lot of DRDO DCPP program. So we are trying to follow the standards set by them, the documentation standard, the design standards, the guideline given by them. But still for a drone sector, these things are not well defined. Like if you say, if I talk about defense sector, the civil side, it's well defined by in the DGCA guidelines and all, or by QCI. QCI keeps a check on that. But in the defense segment, what we happen that everybody is, suppose I have to follow what MIL standards, or suppose I have to check which environmental stress screening or EMI test to conduct on which type of drone. That is not defined till now. Like with MIL at 10G, what should I follow, what I should not follow. So every drone company is having his own parameters, his own test, and so that they design it for their particular test. So they are not compliant to a standard. We are unable to comply to a particular standard. So this for drones of different category, I will request the, you can say, the certification agency to work on what type of, suppose which test of MIL at 10G I should carry, which for ESS, environmental stress screening, and for EMIMC, which tests are applicable from you can say MIL 461F4G for EMIMC. DGCA type certification, anyway, that is a well laid out procedure, and I have filled it in my previous organization, and I found it very properly done, and we were successful. So this is one area where the standards what the startup should follow. Understanding your regulations also is a challenge for startups. So it's not a challenge for the big industries, but understanding of startups so have to navigate the complex regulatory landscapes. I will give you an example. I was just going through a case study yesterday. Some company had a very good idea for on the banking segment, but suppose if they wanted to implement to get the clarification, basically to get approvals from the certification agencies or the regulatory authorities, it takes them for years. So the idea goes into dustbin. He has to wait for 2-3 years to get those things done. Then I have already covered this military qualifications, EMI, ESS and EMIMC, where the agencies need to define if for which type of drone, what type of test standard, or which mill document and which typical particular test we should follow. Then market access and the global reach. So basically, if you see, Indian government is offering lot of, I mean, the drones rules had been liberalized, which Group Captain Narang mentioned. So that's helping a drone industry a lot. But still, what I feel that regulations like the flying is still a issue. So suppose we have designed a drone which goes up to 5 kilometer altitude. So if I have to test 5 kilometer altitude, every time I need to take a permission. So we should demarcate a specific area where at least I can go and fly for what 5 kilometer. The green zone should be there where this altitude limitation should not be there. In particular, suppose Noida is hub of drone, Kanpur IIT Kanpur type of areas where there are a lot of drone companies existing there. The government should at least provide up some area, some particular lat-long location where we can go up to whatever altitude we want. These are some other like market access where this like forming a strategic alliance with global partners, global players can help the startups in accessing new markets and technology. Like companies like Tonbo Imaging and few more, they have successfully expanded, and even MKU, they have expanded their reach by partnering with international defense organization, and they're very successful in export also. Export to even companies like countries like US, Israel, and all. Resilience building, sustainable practices. These are the few other which help us in the in the global reach. Then this is. So there is something I will only highlight the market access part where currently the companies like us were utilizing the IDEX and TDF route. So we have put our proposals under IDEX where we get funding of matching funding of up to 1.5 CR, 10 CR or 25 CR based on whether we are applying in IDEX or IDEX Prime or your Aditi scheme. TDF also, they are funding us. We are in discussion with TDF of DRDO where they can give a grant up to 50 CR, milestone based grant. So they are and procurement also we should be familiar. We are trying to get familiar with DEFROC, GEM, where we get that visibility of the tenders from the Indian defense industry, as well as we are trying to get into. I'm myself an international business development guy. I was for almost 4.5 years, so we have a good channel partner base. But introducing the companies or bringing the companies in the initiative led by SIDM or whatever for the export will be a good idea for giving them a market access internationally. This is a little bit on our drone. Thank you. Any questions? I am ready to answer.
So thank you, Mr. Vijayakumar Pandey, for your inspiring talk on resilience and innovation in startup. The concern on test standard and test specification, either which standard we need to follow, either military standard or ASTM or DIN, related to drones. Yes, it need to be standardized by the regulators or the certifying agency. So we appreciate your contribution to today's program. So any questions from the participant? You can stop sharing the screens. I could.
I have stopped sharing. Oh, okay, sorry. Yeah.
Any questions from the participants? We know we are delayed. The session is extended beyond the scheduled time. Okay, so we appreciate your contributions today program. So with this, I'll conclude today's session. I would like to extend an heartful thank to each of our speakers for their expert contribution and to all of you for your participation, especially on a weekend that shows our dedication to advancing quality in aerospace and defense. So on behalf of CCC and MSCC, thank you all. Thank you. Thank you
Thank
very
you,
much.
sir. Thank
Karthik,
you.
can I ask Vivek before we?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Vivek, do you think we can have a design certification?
Design certificate, no, sir, we have to incorporate those. Suppose if I have to, I will just talk about my previous. I was doing a loitering aerial system for a DRDO DCPP program. So they had defined which are the tests. Well, basically, those defines. If you define the test, then it makes my life easier. Ki what type of components I should use? What is my layout of the systems inside, both mechanically and electronically. So that's where. But currently, suppose if I am just I'm doing my solar UAV, there is no such certifications available for the solar. Like I will lay out the solar cells on the wing and the tail. Now there are a lot of wires because I have to tap the the energy generated by the cells, and lot of wires are. So how I will take care of? There is a difficulty in taking care of AMIMC there because if I add lot of shielding and all, my weight will increase. So there are different segments where whatever I think is best, I am implementing. And similarly, all other drone companies where whatever they think they can implement, there are no certain guidelines for from military perspective. Since we have more experience on the military side, I'm talking about military perspective. But it is clear for tanks. Suppose I have worked on Pinaka rocket launchers, so it was very clear in my mind that I should. They had given like it is surface to I mean, it's a surface vehicle based system. So I had clarity ki, these are the JS Penta 5 that time we were implementing. So these are the tests I will have to conduct. So I will usually design my system so that they will clear or even they fail. I know how to debug and all those systems. So this drone industry for military or the defense side is not clear. The
So what you are saying is we need standards.
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
One more person has raised hand. I'll just, Mr. Shangameshwar, any questions you can unmute
Yes,
and
yes. Good afternoon. Very interesting session today. Just a simple question. I am not very familiar with this aerospace or defense. So, for a large manufacturing facility, okay, it's a normal industry where they make products. So, they have recently taken drones to monitor the periphery for security reasons and inside also. So, what type of regulatory approvals are required for this type of drone?
So industry, may
yes,
I,
yes,
Karthik?
yes, sir.
Uh, any
Yes, sir. Okay.
industry which has to use drones,
Okay.
it has to follow DGCA regulations.
Okay.
So DGCA regulation has conditions for how the drone has to be certified.
Okay.
Secondly, under which airspace it can operate,
Okay.
and it has to remain within those limitations. And if their operation is not allowed,
Okay.
then either they take approval from the respective authority or they don't operate.
Okay.
So these details are given on a digital sky portal,
Okay.
and which specifies who all can operate, what is the airspace limitation, which drone has to, where drone has to be certified. So you have to buy those certified drones,
Okay.
and the drone operator has to have certain qualifications. So all these things are clearly laid down for
Okay.
operation of drone in civil airspace.
Right. So the license has to be from the state authority or from the central government.
Central government digital sky. If you had gone through my presentation,
Okay.
there anyone who's certified, it is notified on the DGCA website.
Okay.
So there is a given syllabus they have to pass. They have to pass it, that syllabus under um, by the uh, certified drone training schools, which is
Okay.
called RPTO, remote pilot training organizations.
Okay.
So
So
all
do
that is defined.
okay.
It's like
So
a
because
driver having a license, a car having a license,
okay.
and you are operating with the red, red, green, yellow signals, and all the center lines you have to follow and how you have to operate. So all
Okay.
those processes, like a car, are followed in drone.
So the reason I'm asking is their license is held up because there's some 25 kilometers from the Indian naval what is that
Yeah.
base
So
at
if it is,
Rajali, INS Rajali at Arakonam.
so if it is banned, it is banned. You
Okay.
know, then
Is
then either they take approval from the central government, which probably will come through Indian Navy, or
Okay.
they will have to give up that
Okay.
proposal, or
So
maybe
the-
they can reposition the the sensitive organization to an area which is away from them.
Okay, fine. So even if it is a private drone, you have to get that approval. If the drone operates only within the periphery of that factory, inside the premises.
Still, they have to tell. See, there are conditions laid down,
Okay.
so that's already there.
Okay. Fine. Okay. Thank you, Group Captain Narayan. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thanks, sir. Thanks, Karthik. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you once again joining us and for your unwavering commitment to safety, quality, and reliability. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank
very
you,
much.
Karthi. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks all.
Have a good weekend.
Thank you.